Hello and welcome to the bedroom floor. I'm your host JAMm, and mobile games. Am I right? What's up with those fellas? Why do most of them suck? Like, it's genuinely crazy. I get that this is where most of the general audience now goes, but like, come on. This was the top 10 list of games for the last week of 2022 on the Google Play Store. I mean, what even is most of this? Going balls? Going balls? I've always been in the camp that traditional games companies going mobile isn't a great thing, but it's sometimes not awful. I feel like traditional companies hold their products to a higher standard compared to the mobile gaming scene, and generally when traditional companies do go mobile, they're pretty decent experiences. But one thing I've noticed over the years is that it's hard for traditional companies to make platforming work on mobile, so I thought it'd be fun if I went over some of the most well-known attempts at mobile platforming from the traditional game companies. First up, I think we should look at a success story. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic came into the mobile market pretty early on, with a few mobile games. Some of the standouts were Sonic Dash as well as Sonic Runners. These two games were different, but similar, kinda. Sonic Dash was a traditional infinite runner like Subway Surfers, and Sonic Runners was closer to an actual platformer, but it was an auto runner. Runners got killed off pretty quickly, but the game itself was actually really fun in my opinion. It had a story mode which explained why the Wisps were in Sonic's lore after colors, as well as a time attack mode which was basically this game's version of an infinite run, but there was a chance it would stop if you let the time run out. You could extend time by collecting clocks during your run. I am not really too sure why the game got axed, but I am willing to bet it was something to do with lower player numbers compared to Sonic Dash. Sonic Dash is very much a mobile game. I mean, there really is not a lot to say about this game. It's just the Sonic skin over Temple Run, and that's not a bad thing in any way. However, it doesn't really innovate on the infinite runner formula. It very much is a run-of-the-mill infinite running game, and that's fine. A lot of people want that, and that's why it's done so well in the market. It's not really too complicated and anyone can pick up and play it. It's a fantastic game for that reason, but there really isn't a lot to talk about as it is just Subway Surfers and Temple Run and the likes. I wish I could say more, but it really does not do anything to be different. You know what else is a mobile game? Crash on the Run. This was the developers of Candy Crush attempting to bring the platforming legend onto mobile devices, and while the game itself isn't horrible, it's not good either. From what I remember, the core gameplay loop was an infinite runner, but it had a story mode and a crafting system which had timers and limitations to how many times you could actually do a story mission or infinite run that day. I say what I remember because the game is no longer available to download in the UK. The main thing I do remember was the game was very money hungry, and while I get it, your goal is to make money, don't shove that down the players' throats at every opportunity. I just want to play Crash Bandicoot in a new way, and this game actively wanted me to spend £5 to do so. It was very scummy of King and Activision to do this. Speaking of money, Mario Run, the game that starts as a free experience, quickly tells you that you need to pay to play most of the game, compared to slowly draining your bank account, and I have to say, it isn't a good Mario game. The game is an auto runner, like Sonic Runners, but it feels a lot slower and less responsive compared to Runners. I do enjoy the Toad Valley game mode, as that is faster in gameplay, but everything else kinda sucks. Mario does not feel fun to control on mobile, as his movement is restricted due to the nature of the game. You can jump, glide, and turn, and that's it. Everything else is done for you. In all fairness, this is a very fun mobile game, but it isn't a good Mario game, if that makes any sense to you at all. I do think that this is a higher quality game compared to the likes of Going Balls, but it isn't the same level as something like Mario Galaxy. It wasn't that short. We played through some of the best that game developers had to offer for platformers on mobile. But for being honest, Nax Quest is obviously the best mobile platformer. I mean, look at it. It's just as much as a platformer as the game is based off of. Thank you for joining me on the bedroom floor. I'm still your host JAMm, and thanks for watching.